Howdy folks, welcome back. Today we're looking at an old replica Paterson revolver. This is a Colt Paterson, the original Colt revolving cylinder design, which was the first commercially produced revolver that used a revolving cylinder and a fixed single barrel by Samuel Colt, and it was first produced in 1836. He produced about 2,800 of them, I think, until about 1942 when he went bankrupt. And his business was revitalized and saved by his arrangement with Samuel Walker of the Texas Rangers, and they built the Walker Colt, and then it took off from there. But this was his original design, and it's much more fiddly than his later mechanisms. This one has been described as kind of like a lockwork. It's very precise inside, definitely not the kind of thing you want for rugged use or to deal with black powder fouling. It's a 5-shot revolver, and on the early models there was no loading lever. You can see there's no loading lever here under the barrel. So you have to remove the barrel every time you want to load, and you have to use a separate loading tool which fits into the slot in the arbor, and then that's the little piece that rams the barrel, the bullet or ball into the cylinder. So this one is probably made by Palmetto, which is a now defunct Italian company that made replicas back in the 50s and 60s. We can't tell. There's no markings anywhere other than the serial number, which is lowish. And there's a GM stamped on the cylinder, similar to my other Colt cap and ball replicas. There's a Walker and there's a third model Dragoon that I have that are similarly marked. So I think it was maybe imported and or finished by a company that just dealt with replica antique revolvers for possibly for display or maybe for movies, not sure, but it wasn't functioning properly until I sent it to Jackrabbit 1957 from the High Road forums, and he agreed to get this cool old replica back in working condition. One of the unique things about the Paterson is that the trigger is folds out of the way until you cock the hammer, and then the trigger is drops down so that you can use it, and then when you're done shooting you just fold it back up, put it away till the next time you pull the hammer, it drops back down again. So that's kind of a cool gimmick, but definitely not preferable to a good solid trigger guard and a design that's more amenable to the fouling and the grunge that comes along with black powder shooting. This is kind of a weird 3-piece frame design, and I have never taken it apart, and I don't plan to. My gunsmith said it was pretty complicated. So anyway, it's also very not ergonomic. Since there's no trigger guard to rest your finger up against, your hand can slip all the way up to here, and then of course you can't reach the hammer. And I found that it's better to, rather than to come over across the side like on some of the Colts, when you thumb your hammer, it works fine. This one is kind of points up higher, and it works better for me if I hook my pinky underneath the grip and I put my tip of my thumb right on the hammer and pull it back. That allows you to do it with one hand. Otherwise, two-hand shooting is vastly preferable with these, but of course nobody really did that in my day. Oh, I imagine they probably, maybe out of necessity, someone figured out that you needed to cock it with your offhand. But anyway, it says patent arms, manufacturer Colt Paterson, New Jersey, Colt's patent. But I'm sure that's not the actual correct markings. And there's a wagon, it's the same stagecoach roll marking scene as on the Colt pocket models the 1848 and 1849. Or something similar anyway. So let's shoot it. As far as I know, this has never been shot. So I'll show you how this needs to be loaded first. So we'll see how this goes, but it's going to be pretty awkward with the camera in the way. So we drive the wedge out, and you can either remove the cylinder and load it off of the gun with a press, but the way it was originally intended was to use this loading key, sort of. Put that in there for leverage, and you put the powder and ball in, and it's kind of a fiddly, awkward arrangement. But we'll see how well it works. You can hopefully see right here the key. There's no hand on this revolver. There's this, it's a key that rotates, and the back of the cylinder has a notch in it that fits it. I'm just putting caps on this to clear out the nipples before we load it. So anyway, that's just to show you the key. All right, so I've got 18 grains of 2F GoX. That's what I have today in this chamber, and a lubed felt wad. And I'm going to try to push this ball down in using the, oh, it's going okay. So these are 375, and they are not ideal each size for this chamber. It's not cutting a ring of lead, which is what you want to see. So we'll just have to make sure that we're, the loop felt wad should help, but ideally I'm going to probably need to use a 3/8 ball in these. So I'm going to do that 4 more times, and then we'll reassemble it and see if it goes off. The caps are having a hard time igniting, so it might be that there's too much space between the face of the hammer and the rear of the cones, but they all went off eventually, so we'll try it and see. All right, here we go. Hopefully, first shots with Paterson. Now I have to hook my finger underneath the grip and use the middle of my thumb on the top of the hammer. I'll see if I can hold center on that. I don't know if you can see that, but it is a dead center headshot on that torso. So I guess I'm gonna have to hold the bottom of the torso. And I'm happy that the cap went off. These are number 10 Remington caps, and they're getting scarce. So that one fell off. That's not good. So apparently they don't fit as well as they could on these old weird cones, but at least it went off. And I hit something, so that's surprising, and it didn't blow up. So I'm going to hold the bottom of the torso this time. And that still hit his left shoulder, which is our right, of course. So hold the bottom of the torso again. That was just below that shoulder. Okay. Okay, so those two might need restrikes, and I might need to recap them. When I was firing them to clear out the chambers and the nipples, it took several strikes to get them to go off. I suspect those nipples have been either shaved down too low, or the cylinder's moving too much, or something, but ones those are. It looks like they're being struck, maybe on the edge. Is it at an angle a little bit? Let's try one more time and then we'll try something else. Okay, that one went off. That was pretty much center mass. And that was just below that. So it's definitely not, I'm not able to hold a really good group, of course, but I'm not a great offhand bullseye pistol shooter. So that's, yeah, that's not great. Figured I might as well shoot at least one group. Try to eliminate as much of me out of the equation as possible. This is not ideal, but it is what we have. Okay, so this is 15 yards. I lowered the charge to 15 grains and it loads a lot easier. Let's see if these go off. Well, that cap blew off. So, put that guy back on. All right. It's a pretty quiet gun. That was kind of a hang fire. And that one wants to come off. So these are number 10 caps and they are not tight enough. So I'm not sure there's even anything that's tighter than a number 10 Remington, so I'm not sure what the next step is going to be for this, but all these caps are blowing off multiple times, which is annoying. Any of you know if they're, smaller caps than Remington number 10s, tighter caps, then let me know. But I doubt I'll be able to find any of them anyway. All right, hopefully this is the 5th shot of the group from 15 yards. It's actually more like 18 yards from my wobbly rest. Well, we're all clear. Let's go check it out. That's not bad, I guess. It's holding here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's probably a wad, I imagine. Can't think of what else it would be. Yeah, it's The round balls are leaving these torn edge holes, and that's a square wad hole. So it's about a 2-inch group. Let's see, that's that one. It's about a 3-inch group. Which is not, that's basically what is expected from these, from about 15 yards. Definitely not too bad. I mean, it's within about 7 or 8 inches of point of hold above where you're holding it, which is not unexpected, and center of mass would definitely get them. Let's shoot some more steel. All right. See if I can hit anything with 15 grain charge. These are CCI number 10 caps. See if I can hit that top circle. Kind of a hang fire. Caps didn't get blown off so far. This is not an ergonomic pistol. Really annoying. Oh, hands cramping up from having to hold it like that. That's not bad, actually. Offhand. I think that's going to be my last shots for the day, but it's not particularly pleasant gun to shoot because of the ergonomic issues, but pretty good group. Looks like I'm pulling them a little bit left. That's about 18, 20 yards. So, pretty cool looking old revolver. It's old even though it's not an original Paterson. You can see that they've antiqued it. You know, obviously 4 dings on this side and 5 similar dings on this side. And, you know, it's not particularly random looking little aging, quote, aging marks. There's little, come on, focus, there we go. Little poke, you know, sharp little poke marks here and stuff. But whoever did the defarbing and antiquing did a good job. It looks, you know, convincingly 19th century. And it is a 19th century shooting experience. It's definitely not ergonomic like the Colt single action and the, you know, the Colt Army and the Colt Navy are just a dream to handle and shoot. And this thing is definitely not. I can see why. I mean, there may have been other, I'm sure there are other financial issues and other problems with the original Colt factory and the original Colt company, but I mean, if this was what we had to handle and shoot, it would not, I don't think this would have caught on, because it is, you know, you just basically slide, your hand slides all the way up here, and if you try to hold it in a regular, you know, gunfighter grip, you can't get your thumb around the back of the hammer. You have to hook your pinky underneath and basically come straight up to the top of the hammer and come straight back, rather than with the, you know, with the, we've got a Navy here, hold on. the Navy, well, it just feels like it was made for your hand, and you can kind of come up to the side of the hammer instead of having to come straight back. In fact, it's awkward to do that with the Navy. It's just, you know, much more ergonomically designed. You can run the hammer as fast as you need to, but with the Paterson, it is, you can't even, it's basically, this is where you want the hammer to be, is right here. And it's not. You gotta come all the way back here, open up your hand, open up your grip, and basically lose control of the pistol, and then you kind of come straight back with the hammer. Anyway, but that's how we learn, is by doing it. So now we know why the Paterson went away, and now why the Navy and the later Colt models were such a great big success. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. See you next time.